This is the Horsepower Hour.
Yes, hello and welcome once again to the only podcast with the salvage title. This is the Horsepower Hour. Joining me as always is the illustrious, the beautiful, and dangerous Coy Forticus in Masterson. How you doing, buddy?
Thank you. Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. I had some little bit of excitement this week.
Ooh, I want to hear all about it, but I also want to introduce our guest for tonight, Devin Hofmann. How are you doing?
Hi, good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're excited to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us. And in the background, taking fourth chair is actually my buddy, Logan Smith, coming over and visiting on the weekend. How you doing, boss?
Doing all right.
You are 27 years old as of 2 days ago, right?
27, yep.
And Logan got himself a little birthday present. It is a 2018 Ford Focus ST. And we went out and did some hooning today. And I got to tell you, that thing is pretty potent. I was impressed.
It's a good time. It's an upgrade from a 06 F350 6 point below.
I'm seeing a lot of your monthly budget going to gas and tires.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
But anyways, everybody wish Logan a happy birthday. As a matter of fact, let's just go ahead and get it started. Just kidding.
Happy birthday.
I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to do that to you.
Please don't.
But who we're really here to talk to, no offense, Logan, is you, Devin. Why don't you tell the folks at home a little bit about yourself?
So I'll start with the boring stuff. I am a mechanical engineer at GE Gas Turbine. I do lean manufacturing there, as well as quality. And then the cool stuff is I race for IAG Performance and doing time attack and work with them on a couple of their lean manufacturing side as well.
And I'll tell you, IAG, I've been looking at their stuff, and especially their Bronco line. Like Coy, I sent you that clip-on step for the side. And I think I sent you also the soft top roof lift for the back.
Yeah.
Yep, the easy lift. Yep.
Man, those are cool. Those guys are doing some really cool stuff. And of course, it's not just the Bronco, it's racing too.
Yeah.
I loved that video. I'm assuming it was also an advertisement. Instead of just showing a few little things, I actually watched it twice and I realized they showed the entire build. They showed an entire one being built. Like it was metal, cutting, laser, auto bend. Like I was like, oh, that's the entire process. That's awesome.
Yeah. All made here well, they're in Maryland. We're in Tennessee right now at the Bronco Show, but yeah, it's all made in-house in Maryland.
Yeah. How's the Bronco Show going so far, by the way?
It's going really well. We have a deal going on right now where we have Fred and JJ doing the handiwork while me and Heather were selling the parts, running around and having JJ and them install the easy lifts and the steps and the hood struts. The customers are loving it. They have a lot of customizable options. They're excited about the products we have coming soon. It's just like the Bronco crowd is awesome. Like those people are so nice and they're so excited to get their accessories on, I guess, after waiting forever for their vehicles.
I was going to say, unless you're a second day or a third day buyer, you've been waiting for a while. So I would be super pumped too.
If you own a Bronco at this point, patience is one of your virtues. Like, you know what I mean? You didn't cancel.
How many people have said that? They're like, oh, I've still been waiting. I know JJ, our owner, I think he's like a first day. He's still waiting on a couple. So it's like so many people have been saying, oh, I know I'm waiting on it, but I'm just start picking out colors and stuff. And man, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's super funny. Well, and let's not discredit your other accomplishments as well. So you work over at GE Gas Turbine, and I do have to ask you something. This might seem a little bit off the cuff, but
are you a real engineer? No.
No. So do you see any place in the automotive industry for gas turbine engines being used? I've always thought to myself, a gas turbine, if you could make it quiet enough, maybe could power like a generator for a gas hybrid engine.
Oof. I mean, that's a tough one because see, like what the gas turbines that I work with, they're like doing actual like power plants. So these things are huge. I mean, I don't honestly know. I don't see it being practical at all. I think the turbos that we have for cars right now, and that's actually what started me getting into cars, is turbochargers. Oddly enough, I was like, what is that? I'm gonna
Mhm,
design that, and then that put me down the rabbit hole of cars.
mhm.
But no, I don't think that's practical. Just the design and all the stuff that goes into it, and how expensive that would be. It's really not feasible because if you think about it, one of our units is anywhere from 4 million to $30 million. So
Mm, mhm.
scaling that down would probably be cheaper, but the development that would go into that would probably be insane.
Okay. That makes total sense. And actually, you answered one of my other questions which was how did you first get into cars?
Right. So, I my first love though, I grew up, both my parents were military, and then it was just me and my mom, and she was military. My grandparents were military, so we moved around on bases a lot. And what do people do when they come back from deployment? Buy shit with the
Yeah.
money, and they have cool cars. And so I remember this guy, he had this '69 GTO, and I was like, what is that lop sound? And I was like drooling all over it, and I always remembered that. So oddly enough, when I first heard like a Subaru, I was like, man, that's like a mix of like a muscle and a ricer, and I kind of think I love it. And then they were like, yeah, they were explaining like how why the motor is different, and then they had this blow off valve for the turbocharger, and I was like, what is that? That is amazing. And
Mhm.
ever since then, I think I was probably like 14. I was like the weird kid in school, like carrying around turbocharger books and how to design this shit. And I was in AutoCAD machining. I was like, I'm gonna build these. I mean, it didn't work out. I kind of have in a way.
Sure. I mean, as for most engineering jobs, you think I want to build this thing, and you find out that that thing is being built by 1,000 different people, and now you live in a cubicle doing one
Yeah.
thing over and over every day. I've been there before.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of why I broke out into like the lean manufacturing side of it now, because I get to do like a lot of like advanced development with breakthrough technology and stuff like that, which is super great. And any best practices I learn, I obviously take to my team so that they can not have to learn the hard way like we have. You know,
Mhm. Right.
it's
I
it's been
hear it.
it's been fun.
And so, what are you driving these days?
So, race car is officially retired from driving. I tried to hold
Mhm.
off until I paid it off. I shouldn't be driving a race car that wasn't paid off, but hey, what do you do? I didn't expect it to be a race car. So, now that it's paid off, I got a F-150 truck. We got a really, really good deal on it. It's a 2018, and it's got it for like 29.5 out the door. Super great.
Mm.
So, it only had like 14,000 miles on it. That thing tows my car like a champ. Good gas mileage. We've been testing the IAG AOS on there for about a year now. You guys will see that come out soon too. The thing is awesome.
Oh yeah, nice. Because you're also working with IAG, and they've got a 22, right?
Yes, they do. Yep, and they have a Raptor. I think they have an 18 Raptor as well. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, you always want to. That's the thing about motorsports. You're always chasing the new, right? Like
Yes.
it is interesting as it is to have a 240 SX that you're trying to get around the track with all of the other brand new cars. You gotta stay with the crowd when you're doing stuff like
Absolutely.
that. And did they end up getting that car as a body in white and build it from the bottom up, or was it like a ready to go car and then they started adding
Which
performance
one?
parts? The
The
22.
Bronco? Oh, the 22. So they actually got that. They bought it from the dealership. The 22 WRX. Yeah, they bought that from the dealership, and they started building that. I don't know if you guys follow along with their YouTube, but we're kind of following the whole process of it. So they started like going after the fenders first, because I think that was everybody's biggest complaint when they saw it. We're like,
Mhm.
let's do the fenders, and we're kind of staying away from power mods right now, but we will be making an AOS for that as well, and we'll be making some blocks for that as well in the future. So,
Mhm.
we're keeping up with the latest trends. So stay tuned though to see how we make it look better. They test fitted my wheels on it too. So fun fact, the 15 STI fits the same one.
Oh, interesting. Okay, good. Well, hey, that's great. I mean, you've got a wide span of wheels to work with then.
Yeah, yeah, and you can buy like I mean for me, I'm cheap, so I'd be like, oh, those came off your 15, let me get those.
Yeah. actually, I'm wondering because I don't actually know, but I'm speculating. The Ford Focus used to have a 4x108, not a 4x100 or a 4x114 bolt pattern, and it made it a little bit more difficult to find wheels for the Ford Focus. So Logan, you might have a little bit of a hard time finding wheels if it's still that way.
That's not what I wanted to hear.
You
Sorry,
can just
buddy.
you can just buy them and then get Titan to make them. They make some cool ones.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Get the real wheels, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Our sponsor from last week. As a matter of fact, we do have a sponsor for this week as well. Thank you for that little segue, Logan. You're the man.
I got you.
Our sponsor for this week it's some kind of a motor oil. I didn't look into them too much, but let's stop it. Stop. Let's go ahead and see what we have going on here. Penetrol Personal Engine Lubricant. Penetrol, the only motor oil you'll ever need. Penetrol, extend your engine's life. Penetrol, and prevent premature detonation. Penetrol, apply liberally to any surface that spins, bounces, thrusts, or pumps. Penetrol, whether you're riding a compact four-banger or a full-sized big block Chevy. Penetrol Personal Engine Lubricant. Penetrol, get your motor running. And we do want to thank our sponsor, our fake sponsor, over at Penetrol.
Was that you? I'm dying. I'm sorry. It's the first time I heard that. That's amazing.
I like that you didn't say fake sponsor before that moment, so she was waiting for Castrol to pop up, and then
I was like, oh my god, what if it's multiple? This is gonna be awesome.
I wish maybe I shouldn't put the logo up when I do the fake sponsors because you guys were absolutely dying.
I was like, I don't know if they can see me, but I'm trying not to keep this again. It just
Coy.
kept getting better and better as you were going.
Coy, do you have any follow-up thoughts for our fake sponsor of the week, Penetrol?
I run Penetrol exclusively. I actually found out about it. I was super drunk. It was like 4 a.m. in the morning. After I had passed out, I woke back up and their ad was playing on TV, and I was like, yeah, this oil company is for me.
Oh man.
Yeah, I used to watch their commercials on the TV at 2 a.m., but it was the block channel, so it was all fuzzy,
Oh yeah.
After the exercise channel that came on, I'd catch the beginning of it. Yeah.
Yeah. But we do want to thank Penetrol for being the fake sponsor of the week. Let's go ahead and segue into the news, shall we? That's quite a segue, isn't it, Devin?
I think that's great.
All right. So speaking of the 2022 Subaru WRX, of course, it's out now. Everybody can get it. Everybody can see it. And you were absolutely right. I mean, people are not huge fans of the plastic wheel arches. It's kind of an interesting thing for Subaru because when you look at it, you don't think too much about it. You just think, okay, the styling, they're going with that newer styling, the wilderness version of the Outback and the Forester and stuff like that. But one thing that definitely has gotten overlooked, in my opinion, and it's highlighted over at the guys at torquenews.com. The Subaru WRX arrived with two upgrades that people really kind of missed. And one of them is that the WRX is no longer riding in that 4.5 to 4.7 inch ride height or clearance underneath of the vehicle. It's now sitting at 5.5 to 5.7. So it's actually gained an inch to kind of tie it back to its off-roady rally roots.
It also looks like they tried to make it aerodynamic, unlike, the rest of its existence. But
hey, I liked the flying brick. How dare you?
I have to say, even though I've said I hate these plastic wheel arches, on this car, I'm okay with it because I guarantee you within a year, somebody makes some fat fender flares.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then that person will call it a wide body. And I'll be like, no, you have fender flares. It's not a wide body. It's not how it works. And then we'll get in a huge argument online and it'll be cool.
That is Coy's favorite place to be, is in a huge argument. Devin,
So
you're intimately involved with the production of parts for this particular vehicle. What are your thoughts about the 2022 WRX?
see, I'm not a bad person to ask. I don't really like change a whole lot when it comes to like something I love. Uh, so this for me, I not really a fan of it, but our team has some good ideas and with how we're gonna make it look better, and we have a suspension on it now.
Hmm.
It's kind of growing on me now that I'm seeing that, but like I it takes me so long to warm up to these cars, and I mean I used to work at BMW, so like I saw a lot of how the grills have grown, and now I'm in love with them. So I feel like give me a couple more months, I might like it.
So you might be one of like three people that actually likes the big grills on the BMWs. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, well, because I saw them before they were released for a while, and I hated them. I was like, there's no way this is gonna go out in public. But then I saw them in person, and then I saw them as a race car, and I was like, oh hell yeah, those things
Were
are
were
badass.
you
Everybody.
were you the engineer that actually forgot to put blinkers in those BMWs?
Oh, you mean the people that forget to use them?
I guess. Well, I
Um,
don't. I just assumed there weren't any, but I've never been in one.
oh, yeah, no, I wish that was a good excuse, wouldn't it be awesome? But no, yeah, it's actually funny you say that because one of the things on BMWs when you're making them for the states cars, like you have to put this little like plastic piece in so that nobody in the states can mess with the car uh, light beam, so you can't move it or
Mm.
adjust it. Every other country you can mess with that, they don't care. I'm like, man, what are we doing that we have this reputation? We have to make sure you're not adjusting your light beams and stuff on here. Like, this is all right.
It's called the lowest common denominator. It's the same reason why the Cobb tuning access port recently it started filing for carb compliance, as we talked about a little bit earlier on in the day, Devin and Coy. And unfortunately, that means if you have removed any component on your vehicle that's considered an emissions control device, they no longer support that, and you have to change it back. And that's just they're catering to the lowest common denominator with stuff like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm something of an emissions control device myself.
You're more of an emissions out of control device, Coy.
I mean, I work at GE. Don't even get me started on emissions. Okay.
Well, speaking of emissions, you guys, the second thing that a lot of people have overlooked about the new WRX is it actually can run 87 octane gas. Subaru made a few adjustments, changes right before they released this new 2022 WRX, and it's not 91 octane required. And a lot of people that even own them now don't realize that. Technically, you can run these on 87 octane if you need to. Obviously, there's a loss in horsepower. So I believe these are 270 horsepower and 255 or 60 foot-pounds torque from the factory. That, of course, is rated on 91 or above octane gas. So if you need to use something less than that, the ECU will automatically adjust. Now, how much that's actually going to save you at the pump? Do you really want that? I mean, I'm using myself as an example. My EcoBoost truck, sure, it can run 87 octane all the time, no problem. But obviously, I have a few mods to it, and the boost is quite a bit higher than it was from the factory. I never run anything besides 91, or now that I'm living in Florida, 93 octane in it. Do we think that new WRX owners are going to run anything but premium?
Oof, I don't know. We personally always recommend you to run higher octane, just performance efficiencies from
Hmm.
it. I mean, it's tough to say because the gas prices are putting people in these kind of situations where I think they're having to look at this and decide, should I give it horsepower to save some money? I don't know. I hope they gas prices even out a little bit because I feel like we should just be running the higher octane. It's better
Hmm.
for the car all around. Wow.
Yeah, I agree with that. Coy, what are your thoughts?
I agree. I feel like if you're getting any kind of performance car, I feel like 91 should be like it's like your barrier to entry, you know?
Yes.
Like if you're gonna get a performance car, then you need to be able to afford premium. So I feel like they should just say premium on there, just
Yeah.
so Because if you're like, oh, it runs premium, nah, not the car for me, then it's not the car. Like this isn't the car for you. So
Yeah.
just say it. Just say it takes premium.
So
Yeah,
maybe
no.
the type of people that walk into a dealership and they end up getting like a, $500 or a $600 a month payment for 96 months on a $30,000 car. Maybe those are the kind of people where then, once you know that, then you can put a tune on it where they can run 87. But then for the rest of us, the lower middle class, by the way, holding out my shirt. Thank you very much. Lower middle class people that can actually afford to pay the 91 plus octane prices. That's then we unlock like the next level. It's a little bit of a reward for us. You get me?
Yeah. It's like when you race the car that you don't have paid off yet, like Devin was saying earlier. You've arrived when you do that because you can handle it,
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Can't
Well,
do
you
it one way
guys,
or
I don't know if you heard about this Ford Bronco that ended up getting stuck on a sandbar. Have you seen this, Coy?
Have I seen, I've seen this now more times than I've seen the Tesla go full
Have you-
SpaceX.
Have you seen our meme about it yet, though? On the
I don't.
IMG page?
Depends on which one it is. I'm not sure.
We have the meme of how it has like floaters around it, just in case.
Let me go and find it real quick.
Yeah, that's pretty gold right there.
Yeah, that is gold. But here's the bottom line. Somebody drove it out onto a sandbar in Bar Harbor, Maine, and ended up getting it stuck. And it had been out there for 3 or 4 days, and no one really knew how exactly to get it out. Well, I have good news. They have recovered the Ford Bronco, and it was by using divers with the inflatable bags that they use to bring up like ship wreckage.
That's amazing.
That's. I also like. Can you imagine being the owner of this and it like the water comes in and it floods it and you're like, no, this is terrible. And then it does it
Yeah.
what four more times? Like the
Mhm.
water completely goes away. It's sitting there. You're probably thinking maybe it's salvageable. Like
There it is.
If only they had
That's-
you guys.
I know that's a meme, but if you sold that, people would buy it wholesale. So
Oh, 100%. That would be amazing.
And we also have an image up of the actual Ford Bronco being floated out. And what I find interesting is they put the floats on it. They got it up out of the sand and into the water. And then you would think, okay, we're done. Like we bring it in. No, it was way too far out to get any wrecker or tow truck out there. So they actually had to wait for high tide to push the truck back in now that it was on floats and get close enough to where they could get a tow truck down there to get the thing. How mortified is the owner of this car?
I mean, I don't know. You said Bronco people have a lot of patience, so maybe he's used to it. It's so
While
close
they have a
now.
lot of patience, I don't think I would want people wholesale shitting on my name the whole time this is happening. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I would honestly get those floats under it, wait for high tide to come in. I would have them push it out farther, and then I'd get a bow and arrow with a fire on the end and Viking style, just sink it out deeper.
Oh.
Like Viking funeral. It's gone. Just
It's not meant to be anymore.
yeah, to Valhalla and beyond.
Dude, put a sail on the top and just play some Sarah McLachlan as we salute and watch it just
Oh my
sail
god.
away.
In the arms of an
There you
angel.
go.
Oh man, I can't even imagine. I just personally, clearly they just got this thing. They've only been able to have it, even if they were like a second day reservee. They've only had it for 4 months.
Yeah.
And it's ruined. It is ruined now.
How many people do you think were like, hey, part out?
I mean, that's the same people when they do it to Subarus, Oh, you've only had it for so long. Can I get those taillights?
Yeah.
They're like, I got this totaled. Yeah,
Is
those
that-
taillights though.
Is that a hard top? Like,
Right?
Oh man, this drunk driver pulled out in front of us. I was lucky to just spend 3 weeks in the hospital. My wife and child both died. Man, that sucks. How much for the wheels?
Right, exactly. That's the shit you see when they post it on the forums. I'm like,
I'm not going to pretend I haven't been there though. It's like, oh man, it sucks that you rolled your FJ at the dunes. Which plant are you buying it back from insurance? Or I could use some parts. Speaking of Rex, bro, the news that I saw something in the wild.
Uh-oh.
Rare. Well, not as rare as it could be. I saw a wild Altima driver, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Myself.
What happened?
It was amazing. They were in a hotel parking lot with entrances on, it was a corner, and the corner was up to an intersection. There was entrances, front and side. They backed out of their spot, drove to the corner, drove over the curb and out the ADA ramp straight out to the intersection into the green light. It was amazing.
No. Do you have a video? Please tell me you have a video.
I was so stunned. Like, I was sitting there like, an Altima it's real. Like, it was like I saw Bigfoot. Like, it was a real thing. It was amazing. And it was on an MLK Boulevard, so it was a sketchy part of town. It was the ultimate, and they were on a mission. It was amazing. I couldn't believe
I live in South Carolina, and I've lived in Georgia for a while also. That was pretty standard. I mean, half of them are taped up, not even like duct tape, just like an actual scotch tape on it. And I don't know how they're held up, but yeah, no, those drivers, they do not care. I don't play with them.
I see the Altimas on the freeway, like going in and out, and you can just see all the dents and a bumper crooked, but I never actually see like how it got that way. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, and the ones you gotta watch out for that say tags applied for went on a piece of paper. Yeah, because that ain't registered. They don't have insurance. Just run.
Yeah.
They are not stopping to change information.
A little insider info for you, by the way. There is a reason why they just didn't stop when they realized they were making a mistake. That's because MLK area in Portland, what would you call that? An involuntary part out, Logan? Yeah. If you end up with your car getting stuck somewhere out there and you have to leave it for 10 minutes, there's not going to be a car when you come back.
You should see the MLK in New Orleans. It's much worse than the one in Portland.
Oh, that's right. So actually, another thing to celebrate, Logan was just telling me a little bit earlier today, New Orleans broke one of their records, right?
They sure did. They broke a big record in 72 hours. The most people shot in 72 hours happened on Easter Sunday.
Oh man.
Yeah. So if you want to move to New Orleans, you should reconsider your life choices.
Listen,
and we could get a group together on Reddit and shoot ourselves in the leg if we got 200 of us and break a Guinness record.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, did they all die? Like, were they actually good shots? I mean, is it too soon to say that?
They weren't good at dodging. I'll give that.
They definitely dodged instead of weaved. But
concealment. It was concealment, not cover.
Yes. Well, I mean, one guy had cover. Just the car door wasn't enough cover.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, no.
And it's concealment, not cover.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Needless to say, if you're driving through New Orleans, drive fast. Drive real fast.
That's why there's so many accidents, because if you stop, you're dead.
Yeah, that was the issue with buying my car. Is every single car had an accident or totaled or some sort of issue with the car.
And I'm glad actually that Logan brought up his new car, because we have a top 5 of the week. The Horsepower Hour presents this month's top 5 of the week today. From Autoblog this week, we've got an article, What to Avoid When Buying a Used Car. Now, when Logan called me and told me that he was looking at this particular vehicle, here's what I told him. I said, if you can, get the dealer or salesman or whatever to start the car for you and look at the back. Make sure that there's no smoke coming out the back tailpipe. Don't tell them you're coming to look at the car. You want that thing as cold as possible because you want to see if there's any smoke, blue, black, white. It doesn't matter. Like, it's a turbocharged vehicle. That is an important thing to do. Of course, Autoblog puts a little bit of a different spin on it. Price gouging on the window sticker takes their first spot. Evidence of title shenanigans. You guys, Devin, I don't know if you've encountered this before. I don't think it's an Oregon phenomenon. I think it's pretty much everywhere. But people buying project cars without a title and believing the owners when they say, oh, I lost the title. You can go down to the DMV and apply for it, and it's no problem. And then you realize they're the fourth owner and it hasn't been titled since the first owner. and now you're stuck with a car that has no title and you have no way of getting a hold of the original owner. Is that a thing that you've ever encountered?
Not usually, no. That's really sketchy. No.
Wow, you must buy
I
really nice
feel like,
project cars.
I mean, I buy cars that I don't intend to be project cars. That's how that happens. I mean,
Hmm.
but yeah, no, I don't know. I'm sure JJ, the owner of IAG, he they started as like a used car sales shop, so I'm sure he has experienced that a lot in their time, probably. Yeah, no, that's crazy. I've heard about it when you try to like transfer it from like Canada, or like other countries sometimes,
Hmm.
that there's like a weird rule with that, but man, that sucks.
Yeah, well, and there are ways around it. I mean, none of, I would call them semi-legal when you have a buddy that works at like a wrecking yard or an impound and puts a mechanic's lien on it for a month for you,
Ah,
you know. And so there's ways around it. Their third one, koi, is obvious defects. The word obvious seems a little obvious here, but there are a few pitfalls that you can get into, right?
Absolutely, bro.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Andy.
Well, I'm just thinking, things like the drive tires, whether it's front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, if chunks are missing out of it, that's usually a bad sign. Aftermarket items put on, and you
Yeah.
don't know the provenance of those aftermarket parts, that always makes me a little wary.
That's for sure one. I like to look and see how the tire wear is on the front tire. It doesn't take much to see how hard somebody is driving this before if the outside edges are all burned off, and it's not, if
Yeah.
you're not a car savvy person, super easy to just be like, oh, it needs new tires. Or maybe the
Yeah.
alignment's bad because they bounced it off a curb. Look at the wheels.
Hmm.
Got a few
Yeah. Or they
scratches on
have
those wheels, or did it get rubbed down a curb real hard because it snowed and they
Right.
didn't quite make the corner all the way?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. The same thing, like anytime I see like a performance mod on a car that I want to buy, if I don't know that like the say it's not done at a shop like IAG or like other respectable shops like Prime or something, like I would be like, no, sorry,
Hmm.
bud. Unless it's something that's super well, I mean, I don't know. I was gonna say unless it's something super easy that you can't mess up, but never mind. Like that doesn't really exist. Like that's always sketchy when you take on somebody else's work. That's why I like these ones that haven't been touched yet.
Yeah. Okay, so let's put a scenario out there. Let's say you've checked a car over completely, but it does have a cold air intake installed, brand name, AEM
Oh.
engine, and it has a catback exhaust. Same
Mhm.
company. Where does that put you on your scale?
I'm probably gonna change it out to ours anyway, so that's not a big deal for me.
Sure, but those are not mods that you'd look at and think, "Oh, somebody's ruined their car with these," right?
No, the minute that they have like a bigger turbocharger,
Hmm.
or they told me they did like a trans swap on it, or they said they did their own engine work, I'm like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't like
That's
this anymore.
the one that scares me is something that's tunable. They're like, yeah, it's got a full standalone. I'm like, who tuned it? And they're like, ah, it's a buzz.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, I tuned it. I know it. I'm like, throw it away.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't want anything to do with something that someone I don't know tuned.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Also, just easy stuff to do, especially if it's got like wide spoke wheels. Sometimes you can kind of get a finger in there and feel how much brake pad is left. Checking the engine oil. I feel like
Yeah.
some people think that checking the engine oil on a brand new, or new to you, but a used vehicle, is somehow taboo. I don't understand how it could be taboo. Pull the dipstick. Take a
Yeah.
look, see if it's overfilled, underfilled. Is it black? Does it have, metal flakes that shine in the sun? There are things that you can do to kind of watch out for the more, again, obvious defects, right?
Right. Yeah. I don't feel like it's taboo. I think that's just smart. I feel like if
Hmm.
somebody doesn't want you to do that, that's a red flag right there, anyways. Like if somebody you're like, oh, I want to check the oil, and somebody's like, nah, 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 you don't need to do that. That's probably your first red flag.
Yeah, truth. Truth. Did you encounter any of that with your car, Logan?
Um, as for the salesman, he was really great. But the two things I made sure of was obviously the smoke out of the tailpipe. But I made sure to check the oil and I checked the tires. But obviously, I didn't do a very good job because the front tires had a little bit of wear to them that I didn't see.
Oh, I have no doubt that you did that. This is your first turbo performance car. You can't tell
Yeah.
me that you haven't been on it.
I've been on it a couple times. But the oil thing, yeah, I definitely checked the oil,
Mhm.
and surprisingly, the guy wasn't worried about it at all. So that was
Yeah.
nice. That was really nice.
Yeah, and I
So
don't think any good dealership would be.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Good dealership. I got screwed when I got my 15. I got it down in a place in Orlando, Florida, and they wanted to do like an oil change after I had did like test drive and everything. And I was like, cool, this is awesome. Yeah, no, they forgot to put the oil filter back on.
Oh my god!
So I literally drove, and I didn't know that. I drove, man, I don't know how far we got. I think we got all the way back to Georgia, and it was a miracle, but my motor seized, obviously. But,
Oh
and
my
I was
goodness!
Like, how many
seriously,
miles do you think you went that way?
I don't remember how many miles. I know the total drive was 6 to 8 hours with the traffic, but we didn't get that far. I think we got maybe 4 hours, which was crazy. Like it should be a commercial, honestly.
I can't
But
even
like,
believe it made it 4 hours. That's
so the only reason I even know that that's what was wrong is because then I had to get it towed, you know. And then they're like thinking I'm a dumbass girl, and they're like, "Did you try to change your oil?" I'm like, "No, dumbass. I just bought this. Like, here's literally new dealer plates, everything." And they're like, "Oh my god, you got screwed."
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
so
So
did
that's a reputable dealership for sure. I got
did the
Subaru America involved, and they paid for it, and
Oh wow!
yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Again, not what you know, but who you know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't even know anybody. I just like this is before I even like knew about IAG. Well, I mean, I've known of them, but like this was just like me writing letters and being annoying, being like, you cannot be fucking serious. Like you're gonna not cover this. You did this, you know?
Right.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. Now I wouldn't be worried because it is who I know. I do have the support. My team is awesome if anything like that happened.
Mm-hmm.
See, you know what to fix that issue if you use a fake sponsor oil. I think you would have okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. Big shout out to Penetrol for being there for us.
Yeah, I think you would be good at that point.
Yeah,
and
it's
this crawl's been
guaranteed.
known to keep your motor running even longer than 4 hours. I've heard all night. So
Yeah,
Oh,
all night long,
maybe
baby.
that's what was in it. Just a little bit of that.
And hey, Mac Reed has another good one. Get a good look under the car. That is the
Yeah.
truth, because even if they have cleaned everything else up, a lot of times you can't hide those oil leaks. And so if you've got, oil and road grime underneath of the car, you can bet that there's an oil leak. And I mean, if you're paying, more than $5,000 for a car, those oil leaks are going to be concerned. I used to say that about an $800 car, but man, inflation's really killing us right now.
Or that and rust underneath there, especially if it's like a
Mhm.
car from the north, like they see the salt and the snow all the time. Yeah, that's a good one.
I was about to mention that. I'm glad you brought that up. I say up here in Oregon and some of the West Coast states, it's now becoming a thing where dealers will buy cars from the Rust Belt and ship them over because we don't use salt here, so no one really looks for that. And even though it's a car that's only 6 years old, they clean it up and do it. It is rusty as all get out underneath. No one looks. They get it for a song and ship it, and it's a whole scam.
It's actually the truth, because back when I was working at the automation engineering company I used to work at, there was an engineer there that was looking at diesel trucks, and he told me exactly the same thing. He had gotten into the habit of crawling underneath these trucks and feeling underneath and pushing his thumb into the frame rails, because almost all of the trucks that he looked at had underbody spray, but almost all the trucks he looked at, he would get to a spot in the frame rail where he could actually push his thumb up and through because it had rust holes through the frame. It's a real thing, and people need to be aware of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's horrible.
Oh, it's scary. Number 4 on this list from Audio Blog is getting the runaround by the finance department. I never would have thought about that, except for I was trying to buy my wife a car, and it's funny, we were trying to buy her a used car, and I ended up getting a brand new car for nearly the same price, a little bit more. But man, we got the absolute runaround. This dude started trying to play hardball with us. I mean, handed us like a valet key for the car, and it should have had a key fob. I've told the story on the podcast before, so I won't go through the whole thing. But we got in a screaming match with the dude. We were literally yelling at each other. He's standing up. I'm standing up. I'm screaming at him. My wife doesn't know what's going on. She's just like, is this a normal part of buying a car? She doesn't know. And
Right.
I was so focused on getting her this car. It wasn't until, I went to bed and went to sleep. Obviously, I was super, super heated. And it just, listening to me here, you probably wouldn't realize that I've dealt with anger issues in the past, but I mean, I was livid. I was like spitting in this dude's face.
Oh wow.
And so obviously the next day
You
when
gotta
I
have
had
counsel.
slept and cleared my head, I was like, well, we just need to get our deposit back because obviously we're not going to be buying this car. But this is a real thing. People get the runaround once they've signed the paperwork and there's been maybe like a down payment exchanged. People will start getting the runaround not only from the finance department, but also trying to get them to buy the extended warranties and other accessories. We heard that a couple of weeks ago from David Boyd. His custom ordered Ford Bronco, they wouldn't let him have it until he paid for extra bullshit that he didn't need. What did he end up paying for, Coy? It was like a tire protectant or something?
I think it was a paint sealer,
It was a paint sealer.
as if it doesn't
Wow.
come with sealed paint.
Right.
Like that's kind of I was like, oh, I need paint sealer. Yeah, okay.
Wow. I got nothing on that. That's crazy.
It's such a weird experience to have once you're in it, but these really are real things, and you hear the stories all the time. People kind of getting taken for a ride when they're trying to buy a used vehicle. Hell, buying a new vehicle. Again, going back to David Boyd, I mean, I cut the section out and posted it as its own YouTube video, so people can go and check that out on our channel. To YouTube, you just type in the Horsepower Hour. Our channel will come right up. But the long story short is that the dealership got his Bronco in and tried to sell it out from underneath of him. Basically said this thing's going to go to the highest bidder, and
Ah.
it was outrageous. He had to go and again go through all the rigmarole trying to buy just the truck that he had ordered. They wanted him to pay all kinds of premium fees and stuff on it, and of course, David, he has a much larger following than we do, so he was able to reach out to Ford and say, I'm going to trash you guys unless you make this right. And they tried to make it right for him. And, he's getting some extra parts and stuff, but dealerships will do that now, man. You got to watch out for that. And especially in the used cars, they do that. The markups are real. The extra added costs are real. And as a consumer, we got to be careful about that stuff.
Absolutely.
Mm.
You know what else we got to be careful about, Andy?
What's that, Coy?
Dumb overlanding stuff.
Dumb and unnecessarily overlanding products. That is our next segment, by the way. Overland is fuck. What's our first one up here, Coy? You made this list, and so I'm going to let you run with it a bit.
The tire gator table. It's a
Oh,
table
stop.
with one leg. You put it on your tire and use it. Of course, if you'd like to move your vehicle or go anywhere, then the table is now what's a one-legged table called? A unitable?
Unitable.
I saw these, and when you're parked there, they do kind of look cool. I was like, oh, that kind of looks cool. And then I was like, that is so freaking worthless. Especially the price of these. They're pushing $200. You can literally go down and get a folding Rubbermaid that slides, takes the same space as this, and stands on its own legs.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to move your vehicle, then you park on any side. You want to move your table to the shade. You want to move it to the sun. You want to take it out of the rain. It's not hooked to your rig. So this is one of my top dumb ones. What's that, Devin?
Is this supposed to be for people that are like camping or something?
Yeah.
Overlanding. This is overland gear.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Wow, that's wild.
Because overlanders are all about their gear, especially when it comes to stowing their trash, right, Coy?
Absolutely. This is basically an inside trasheroo that people have, the headrest trasheroo.
Oh,
You've probably seen the trash bag. It says trasheroo on them. Usually there's different brands. They hang them on the spare tire at the tailgate. People get so into this, they get talked into getting one for inside their vehicle. First of all, it's just a plastic bag. You can put them on any headrest. Second of all, why do you want the trash right behind your head? Like the reason I got a Trasharoo is because I had to get rid of diapers.
Oh my God.
And
Could you
when I poop in
imagine?
my Depends, it is stinky.
Yeah.
So why would I put it right behind my passenger's head? You know what I
Yeah, with
mean?
all your wet wipes. Yeah, that's not a good
Yeah.
idea.
So the reason you have the whole idea of a Trasharoo is to get the trash outside of your vehicle. So then now buying one to put inside your vehicle, don't really understand it. The
And I
price
will
obviously
say,
is bad.
this is on sale for half price. Normally it's $30. This is $15.99. You know what's cheaper
Oh
than
my
that?
God.
Just hanging a plastic bag from the grocery store off of
Yeah,
your
keeping one-
headrest.
That makes way too much sense, though.
Oh, way too much sense, huh?
Way too much sense to hang a plastic bag from your
Is that a
headrest.
bomb?
No, it's not.
It could be. It could be.
So that's the thing is that a bong for overlanding is actually considered one of the essentials. So
Oh,
these
okay.
days,
My bad.
but nah, you got to be in the scene. If you know, you know. This is called a Kelly kettle. All right. These are cool from an engineering standpoint, actually. So in the base there, if you see, you build a little fire. This is hollow in the center, so it's like a chimney. So these do boil water very quickly. This is all that heat goes through. Instead of just heating the bottom, it heats all the surface area on the chimney through the middle. So that opening on the very top is actually the chimney. You pour the water in and out where that green stopper is there. Super cool. Like I get it. I'm not sure how fast you need to boil water. I mean, obviously, if you're going camping, you have a camp stove, and pots can be found cheap to free, and they boil water fairly quickly, and you don't have to build fires and have weird contraptions that literally this does one thing, and that's boil water. That's all it can do.
I think you can get a jet
boil
boil
out of it, like Devin was saying. I'm not. It could be possible.
I think you can get a jet boil for half the price,
Oh.
and it works a lot faster.
Half the price. What's the price on this? This is
So it's out of stock on Amazon, but what I'm seeing online is between $50 and $75.
No.
depending on
no way.
the size. That's for a small one. You get the big one for like a family, they're like $200.
Oh my God, $200?
Yeah, they're crazy expensive.
And compare that to just going to Walmart, by the way, and buying a pot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or just reaching into your cupboard, getting the one you don't use because it's a little burnt or you lost the lid for it, and then using
There
your
you
hand
go.
to carry it out to put in the Rubbermaid tote in the back of your truck.
Can we just
Maybe
go to
not the best
GI
idea.
Joe and buy a Bunsen burner? Like at this price, $70 for something to boil water. It's ridiculous.
I know, I hear it, but this is what the overlanders are using. That's what I'm saying.
They're
This
cool.
this
So-
next one it is actually something that I've seen overlanders use, and so this is a little bit of like me throwing this in there. But what do we got here, Coy?
The outdoor revolution, Campanese, inflatable double
goodness.
sofa with cover.
Oh, I love it. A portable couch. Oh man, I love naps. I'm here for this. You can't shit on that. I'm here for it. Well, actually, never mind. What's the price? Let me back up.
The price for this combo, chair and love seat, it's 150 euro, which
Oh.
equates to about $200.
Never mind. I take it back.
I have to disagree with you, Andy. While I would never buy this, I pray that all my overlanding friends get one of these, because when they get drunk and take a nap, we're putting it in the lake. And we give it a gentle shove and comedy ensues. I would never, it's like when you get drunk, you don't sleep with your shoes on. Same thing. You don't sleep on something that's floatable. Don't get drunk and pass out on anything that floats ever.
At any event, like my whole team knows that I need a couple things. I need my coffee, I need a nap, and I need food constantly. I'm like a grown 5-year-old, and like I always find these places to take a nap. Dude, if somebody had that, I am beelining it. Like you better believe that. I'm bringing my blanket and my heating pad, and this is gonna be a whole out event.
If we were even just passing acquaintances and I saw that, I would get someone else and be like, gently lift it, slowly carry it to the nearest body of water.
Yep.
And it's not even, I can't not do it. Like it's actually, it's more wrong to not put something in the water like that if you're sleeping on it. It's
And
just something
Devin,
you have to do.
You have connections that we want, by the way. I mean,
Yeah.
you're connected with IAG, you're an engineer, you work intimately with race cars. Mike Kojima, I've been dying to have him on the podcast at some point.
Oh
We
my god.
we literally, I wouldn't be happy about it, but it would be necessary for us to put you in a lake if you slept on one of these.
Yeah.
I mean, then I wouldn't get Mike on here then.
No, there'd be a single tear coming down the outside of my cheek, and I'd be like, I don't know if I
Right,
have the
yeah.
strength to do this. And Andy's like, you must.
You might. Yeah, no, I love Mike. Yeah, Mike. He'll be at my race in Atlanta in May. Actually, he'll be. He's
Nice.
my engineer when I race. So
Hell yeah. Well, now I know who we're having on the podcast for my birthday stream.
there you
Okay,
go.
this one's probably going to be one that you like too. This
Oh
is
my
the
god,
hot
yes,
tub hammock.
yes.
Are
Wait,
you
how do you get
aware of
water in?
you pour? So the picture that Andy has up there, you pour water in it, and that is a propane heater that sucks the water in and heats it and back in.
Hmm.
You
I
literally put this
love-
hammock up, and it turns it into like a hot tub with jets.
I'm here for this. Yes. You don't understand. Like this Airbnb that we're in has a hot tub, and I like got so excited about it. And it's not that warm out, but I'm like, we're going in a hot tub. Like so, this, yeah, I would totally do this.
Here's the deal with this, why I hate it so much. One, like you're going to get
It's
in and out.
negative.
You're probably going to spill half the water. Number two, it's kind of cool. Other people are going to want to use it. Someone's peeing in there for sure.
What
There's
if
a
you're
total of 4 gallons. I don't know how much water that thing holds, but as a full size hot tub, the pee is diluted enough that I could kind of like push out of my mind. In that, I don't know how many parts per million is urine, but it's a lot higher. It passes the EPA threshold for it to be safe for me.
Logan's
You're
pointing at himself, by the way.
fine.
He's like the one that's going to forget and relieve himself in the hammock.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, at
May
least
I
it's
be
yours.
excused to use the bathroom? Thank you. Yeah.
Just make sure you raise your hand first.
I'm telling you guys right now, it looks cool. It is coming in at just shy of $2,000.
You're out of your mind. You know these people in like the backwoods, they'll probably make one out of a tarp if they haven't already with this and get creative.
I'm sure it's happened.
I feel like they've done this at Grid Life. I want to say they've done something like this at a Grid Life concert.
My
Oh,
thing is,
I
if
would
you
totally,
want,
I'm sorry, Coy, hold on. I would totally throw a thick, like a 9 mil tarp in the back of my pickup and run a heater hose to it. 100%.
I feel like this has happened. Yeah.
Mhm.
Nope.
so what I would do, and if somebody hasn't done this already, they should do it. I just get an old dry suit from some old diver, fill that thing with water, plumb a heater into the side of it. It's like one of those sleeping bags with legs. I'd just be sitting in my camp chair, roasting marshmallows, hot tubbing inside my own suit.
That's
Sure.
amazing.
If a bear or
Wow.
something showed up, I mean, I'd probably not be able to run very fast carrying my propane heater.
You're not supposed to run from bears anyways. You're supposed to play dead, right? Or something. Yeah.
I'm
They don't want
100% sure that we call that marinating, Coy.
Marinating.
Yeah, he's marinating.
Bay in there.
Then, he's going to be concerned about the pee in the suit simply because he knows he peed.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Yeah. We got one left, and I'm actually a little curious how you justify.
Oh. Andy, did you freeze up?
Oh, okay. It wasn't me. I was like,
Okay. Andy's frozen.
Andy, come back.
Andy, come back. You can blame it all on me. So what I have here is the one wheel. I know we don't have it up on the screen, but you've seen them. It's like a skateboard with one tire in the center, fat tire.
Yeah.
They look
Yeah.
so cool. I want to ride one so badly.
We
They're
had a
super
guy-
overland. Yeah, they're super
Yeah.
overland cool. People like to take them out. They're out in the middle of the desert. They get these things on, ride them around. But guess what
We had a
happens?
customer come. What?
They wreck the daylights out of these. Now they got a broken arm 43 miles from pavement.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's Darwinism, though. So,
Yeah. So that's why I think these are dumb. They're also $2,000.
So we had a customer stop by with one of these, and he had the cutest little French bulldog that like straddled that wheel and rode between his legs as he was on there. And I was like, that's really cool till you fall and then you hurt your dog too.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna punch you in the face when you like trip and kick your dog. Like, like
See,
so
I always thought these were really cool and kind of wanted one if, ever one somebody like left it and we're not watching it, then I could own one. But my chiropractor actually, I came in and his arm, like I thought he wrecked a motorcycle. It was just from a, armpit to halfway down the forearm, horrible scab. And I was like, bro, that looks crazy painful. So I need to know how that happened. He's like, you ever heard of these one wheel things? I was like, yeah. And he's like, so I had it. I was going down a hill, just like straight. And turns out once they reach a top speed of like 21 miles an hour, I'm not sure what it is. It's pretty quick.
On that.
It actually starts kind of trying to break you by tipping back a little bit. But he was like, no, I want to go fast. And he kept leaning into it. And then at a certain speed, it goes, wow, you're going way too fast, and just kills the power. And when you're leaning, really smart. Yeah. And so it just, the front end goes to the ground and it ejects you in front of it, and then you die.
And by the way, Fireman Spinny Logan, who's here and could comment, but he wanted to slide it in to the comments on the live stream. He says, Coy, you're not coordinated enough to ride this thing. Coy, I know for a fact that you had a unicycle.
Okay, I just want to say I look uncoordinated. I agree. I'm wildly coordinated. Like I was actually good at sports. I just don't have the figure and shape of it and all that. But
Devin, did you just say prove it?
Yeah, video or no proof.
Of a unicycle? Me riding a unicycle? Yeah. My unicycle story was not good. I never broke an arm, but other people did. And I never truly learned how to ride it. What?
Did you ever have the wheelie shoes?
Wheelie shoes? No, I wanted those.
Heelys. That had like Heelys, the Heelys. That's right. Yeah, those are so cool.
When I was a kid, those were like a hot commodity. They were really cool, and other kids had them, but they also cost money, so that meant I would not get one. But I did have some rollerblades that I got from Value Village. So
a little insider trading for you, Devin. Coy and I are cousins, and we both grew up poor. Very poor. So when you talk about, didn't you ever have these things when you were a kid? No, because
my neighbor had one and I used it and it was awesome.
Yes, exactly. We found a neighborhood kid that had left his rollerblades out, and they were 3 sizes too big for me, and I just wore extra socks, and that's why I had rollerblades.
Missing one wheel. The brakes down to the plastic. There's no rubber left. Yeah.
All right, hey, we beat this thing to death. That is our Overland AF for the week. Overland is fuck. There we go.
Hang on, Andy. I actually have one more that I wanted to slip in on you.
Here. Okay, what's up?
Okay. So remember this off-road RC crawler that's big and behind me?
Yes.
This TRX 4 on tracks. Those are also super dumb to take overlanding. I did just buy this though, like a couple days ago. So.
I had no idea. I thought Coy was my best friend. He hasn't told me this. This is new information for me.
Yeah. So
this is like when your dog died and you decided to tell me on the podcast.
Oh my God.
I know, Devin. That was my reaction too. I was shocked.
I would have been crying on TV and mad at you at the same time.
It happened like a few minutes before, and I'm sorry. It was painful for me, but content is content. Like it's not it fits and ships. I love that.
No, Coy's a natural born YouTuber. Coy could get arrested, and while he's being booked in, he's like, "Oh my God, how can I turn this into content?"
Dude, I am the worst at content. I'm trying to get so much better. Like my friends like Lucia and Gabby, they excel at this stuff, and I'm just like the weird engineer. I'm like, oh yeah, I probably post, huh?
You're in good company because our YouTube channel has like 53 followers, and our podcast has 1,400 listeners. So when you talk about bad at content, that's me. I'm really bad at content.
I think my YouTube has 4 followers because I upload never.
Your mom?
I'm the same way.
My mom and my grandfather.
Yeah.
I think I maybe like 1 or 2 friends that felt bad for me.
Yeah. No, Andy, I bought this, and I like how before the show I let you talk a bunch of crap about it. It was like, yeah, absolutely. These things are dumb.
I was not talking crap about it. I was talking crap about people who think that their RC cars look like real cars.
Yeah, that makes me angry too. But I got this because I think they're cool, and my son was wanting one.
Oh, sure. Use your son as an excuse. Mm-hmm.
That's what we do. At this age, you have to blame it on the kids. You want a cool toy, you say, I'm getting it for my kid. Oh, he's too young for it. What a shame. I get to use it.
I'll honestly probably do a different one for myself just because, but I have some friends that have them and he plays with them and loves them. So I told him, hey, we're going to get one of these. I want you to design a little off-road track because I got a couple acres of basically useless hillside land. So we're going to build a little track there. And it's like, you get a piece of paper. He's 7, by the way. So, you draw it out what you want and come back the next day and he's got it done. And it is incredible. It's like origami. Like he's got a bridge on it that he like made the bridge and then taped it. So it's going over the trail. And I'm like, oh, crap.
Cool.
A bridge? I thought like rocks and then like the hill climb, then maybe a mud hole, something like that. So now I'm building a bridge. So that's what's happening now. Like I'm
that mini excavator home. That's super funny. And listen, I love the RC car stuff. Devin, did you ever get into RC cars at all?
I did not. No, like we were also poor, so I got like hand-me-down Matchbox cars from like people with them, and I had like all little Hot Wheels and stuff. And then one time, my mom, she got a treadmill, and I put it on the treadmill, and I pretended like it was racing, and I was like doing all that, like so it was like driving real fast. That's about as like cool as I got with cars.
I have a story that has to do with RC cars and being poor, which Andy was there for part of it. So I'm going to tell it. And I just remembered it recently. So my son doesn't even know I got this yet, but I took him to the RC car store in Salem. I like just Googled like the nearest big town to me RC car store. And it was the same one that I bought an RC car at when I was 15. I like bucked hay all summer.
Shout out to RC Plus.
Yeah, got paid. They're still there, bro. Like so it's crazy. I'm like, wow, they're still in business. So I went in, we looked at all the stuff, and it reminded me of when I bought my RC car when I was 15. It was back then, gas was better than electric stuff. So I bought a HPI Nitro RS4. It was like $315, but I had like $800 because I bucked hay for 3 months and just did dumb things for money, moved things for money, and then I took it home, and my dad was like, wow, that's pretty cool. How much you pay for it? I was like, $315. And he was like, what? He's like, you got to take it back. I'm like, it's got a gas motor, and I drove it a lot. Like, I can't take it back.
No, Coy, what he said was, are you going to be able to ride that thing to work?
I was going to say, then he got super mad. Like, I hope you're able to ride that thing to work. And then I wasn't allowed to spend over $5 for 3 months without getting his permission, which at 15 years old is like rough.
Yeah, it's the truth.
That was cool. Super cool.
Well, I do have good news for people that are on a budget wanting to get into some kind of a fast car and don't want their dads to yell at them. I honestly think that this might be a viable option for you. Let's go ahead and do our deal doob.
Smoking deal or smoking adobe.
You guys, I'm just going to call it right now. This is a tough one for me. Really, really tough. So what we've got here is a 2005 Mazda RX-8 boosted small block supercharged. Coy sent this to me, and to be honest with you, Devin, we had a couple of different vehicles that we were tossing around, and when Coy sent this to me, I was like, yes, that's the one we have to use because we have a racer on the show. So now we got to talk about race car shit.
Okay. Let's
go through the description here. First up, it says, read before messaging. If you see this, it's available. Reposting, but still in no hurry to sell. No, you can't smog it legally in California. It is located in Yreka, California, by the way. Build has less than 10 actual miles on it. Driven to a local car show, a few burnouts and donuts, and in the garage she now sits. Fully built 383 stroker on 7 PSI. 10 over block, 4-bolt main, forged 400, rotating assembly, ARP fasteners, mild cam gear, Whalen Roots blower with a 7 PSI pulley, built 350 turbo trans, 2000 RPM B&M stall, upgraded drive shafts, obviously, engine mounts, huge cooling system, all stock interior, fully functional windows, locks, alarm, stereo, all work like factory. Every part for the swap was bought new or built by professionals specifically for this car. Trade for an S2000 or another project. He has a couple of other tags in here, but I think that's just for the algorithms. JDM, right-hand drive, EG, EK. I can't see him trading this for an EG or an EK. He actually has a startup and running video. The video is not very good. I'm just going to warn everybody ahead of time. But let's go ahead and see what we got here. Get that sound up. Video turns sideways, always a good sign.
Anyways.
Well, it's got some sound here. Let's go back.
I mean, I want to love it.
So that's what she sounds like. And now back to the photos that he posted on Marketplace. Got that huge blower sticking out the top. It's a single carb. It's obviously going to be something big. It's probably like a 1050 Dominator because it is supercharged. Big cowl out the hood, blowers sticking out the hood. I mean, nothing about this is going to fit the RX-8, obviously. I'm not a huge fan of the wheels. It's got some kind of weird looking aftermarket wheels, but that's probably the least of my concerns. I mean, bottom line is, even though it's an automatic, and I'm not a huge fan of it being an automatic, like if it had a T56, I'd probably be driving to California to buy this thing right now. But it does have the Turbo 350 transmission in it. But what are we thinking here, you guys? Give me some thoughts.
Hard pass.
Hard pass for you. What do you think, Coy?
I can't. Like, I can't mix it. Like, I love the huge blower on it. Hell yeah. That's great. And it sounds amazing. But I just mixing the ricer and that, no, I can't.
I know what you feel. I'm one of these people. I don't like cross brand swaps. Like it needs to be the same. I'm like some old racist or something. Like I'm like only the same brand to the same brand. Stop making these abortions. But personally, no, I'm never going to own it. But what we're doing here is at $11,000. Is this a deal? And yes or no? And then at what price would you be forced to buy it? Like this is in your neighbor's yard and every day he drops it. And finally you just walk over there and you're like, look, I have to own it for name your price.
Oh yeah. So Devin, this is an important part. I mean, this is a two-parter. It's not just about what you think he might be able to sell this for, and we're going to go through that. So keep that number in mind. Like when you're looking at this and you're thinking, what is someone going to be willing to pay for this? But also keep in the back of your mind, at what price do you see this and you're like, I hate it so much, but I literally cannot pass it up for that price. Keep that number in your head. Okay. Coy, I think you should go ahead and start us off with this one, buddy.
Well, first of all, I like that he said looking to trade for an S2000. I don't know if anyone's seen S2000 prices lately. Good luck finding one for $11,000. I mean, plus 200,000 plus miles. But so good luck with that, buddy.
Coy, I apologize for interrupting, but Mobile Moto from YouTube comments says, can manage to bolt this abortion together, can't manage to take a decent video. Wow. Harsh.
Yeah, he definitely filmed this with his newest potato, but at $11,000, I always do this thing where like, what did it cost to make this? So you can pick up a unrunning RX-8, and that's most RX-8s.
Yeah.
For
$1,500
to $2,000 all day long. Like we can get on Marketplace and find 4 in 5 minutes. The 383 stroker though, with that giant blower, man, that's a chunk of money. That's if he built that, I mean, you guys, I mean, that's 5-6
He
grand
said
getting
that
used
before.
parts, and he said he bought them all new. Which it's used, you never know. But I mean, if he just pulled that motor out, I feel like he could sell that motor for 5 grand right there. So now
Yeah,
you're into it 7. Now you got to get all this into this car, make all your windows and wiring and everything work, and it looks pretty darn good. Like I know the hood's cut, but it doesn't look OEM, but it looks well put together.
Mm-hmm.
$11,000. I think it'd be hard to recreate this. It's right there for me. I mean, it'd be tough to recreate that. And if you did use all new parts, like a good wrench, motor, and then you 383 stroked it, then you got a blower, all brand new, I don't think you could recreate this for $11,000. The problem is he's in California, and you can't smog it there. Well, you could, but obviously they would send you back out with a fail ticket, and you would have paid them $200 or whatever it costs.
Right.
If this was in like where I live, I feel like this would sell all day long for $11,000. So I actually got to say this is a deal. Not for me personally, but I think that this is worth the money. And then since I'm not into this horrible Frankenstein thing that's going on, at what price do I have to own it so I can just take it out and do smoky burnouts and get reckless driving tickets?
Yeah.
I really don't like it though. So I'm going to say if this sit in my neighbor's driveway with a for sale sign at 4,500, I walk over there and I kind of scratch my head and I'm like, look, man, I got to have it for that price. Like I can part it and sell it for that much. So I'm going to take it off your hands.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it's a deal. I think it'll sell for as 11 grand to an out of state resident, not in California, and 4,500, man. It's mine. I have to have it, even though I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to Wyoming. It's going to South Carolina, Devin. I mean, I'm 100% in the same vein. I don't think he's overpriced. I do think that his only hang up here is the fact that he's in California. And so selling it to a local is going to be more difficult because obviously you can't smog this thing. Obviously. So that's going to be a hindrance for him. But at 11,000, I think if he can keep the thing listed long enough, he is going to find an out of state buyer. Mobile Moto from YouTube says that motor came from the movie Nothing But Trouble after they finished mechanically separating chicken. Okay. All right. I can dig it. And I have no doubt that this thing, by the way, would separate me mechanically from all of my money if I owned it. My buy it right now price, I think it'd be 5 grand. That's not because I don't like it, because I do. It's just one of those things where if it had a manual transmission, I'd probably be into it for more, because I like quirky, unique stuff like this. I like the RX-8s a lot. They handle amazingly well, even though there is some brand swapping there, like you said, Devin. But I'm still kind of into it. I like RX-8s, and I would not mind having this in my arena, but at the same time, it's got the turbo 350, which for burnouts and like just cruising around town, that's fine. But I would really, really prefer to have a manual transmission. Logan, you're not let off the hook, by the way, but I am going to let Devin go first.
Oh, okay.
I agree. I think it would sell for probably 11. There are people out there that love this kind of stuff. Again, not me. People that love this. Like, I appreciate the time that went into this. Unfortunately for me, I feel like this is one of those things. If you do that, you're stuck with it, or you get a low deal. Why
Mhm.
he's willing to trade it for an S2K? I'm like, what's wrong with that? All right, well, hold up. That doesn't equal 11 grand, but
Well,
I don't know.
because S2Ks, like crappy ones, go for 15, and nice
Oh,
ones
did
go
they
for
go for
20.
50? Okay, so
Oh,
I'm just assuming that they go for less.
no, they do not.
I mean, so yeah, I think he can get 11 for it. Especially in California, everything is way more expensive there.
Mhm.
And I think even here, in Greenville, even there would be people that eat this up. But I'm with you, like not being manual, and I can't get down with it not being a muscle car and that big blower being there. It is like
Mhm.
almost sacrilegious for me. I kind of fucking hate it.
Mm.
I would do 2.5. 2.5, and I would take it and race it and not care.
Yeah, for $2,500, you would just burn it to the ground, basically.
I would maybe even try to drift, and I'm not very good at that. I would just
Mm.
say, hey, let's just have a fun time with this car and see what we can get it to do and do cool
Hey,
shit with it.
but
That'd be it.
2,500 still better. I mean, we've had a couple of deal of dupes where we had a guest on. As a matter of fact, we had Brian and Daniela from Circuit of the Northwest on. Wasn't that last week, Coy?
Yeah.
In our deal dupe, Daniela was just like, there's no quantity of money. I would give him nothing.
That's amazing.
He could pay me to drag this car off and I would crush it for him. So, I mean,
Yeah.
at least you found a number, right?
Yeah, if it wasn't, if the motor wasn't built like that, I don't think it could.
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah, that's its saving grace, and it seems like it'll still be fun to get on a little bit. So
Yeah. Well, DJ Logan, you're up next. What do you think, man?
So I want to preface this with I'm not a huge car guy.
Yeah, sure.
I know very little about cars.
Mhm.
But I feel like $3,000 for like a buy it now price
Mhm.
would be for me. I like Devin's idea of just rallying the hell out of it and just drifting it. As for racing it, I probably wouldn't because I would send it into a wall
Sure, of course.
real fast.
fair.
As for his listing price, it was 11, right?
11.
I don't know much about these cars, so everybody's saying it's a deal. I'm gonna say it's a deal. So, but $3,000 for me to buy now, just because it seems like we have a really good time to send it around corners, probably crash it more than once, and hope it doesn't go O'Reilly wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to shit on Logan, by the way, because it is his birthday, but you have to understand how much money means to him right now. He's an EMT in New Orleans. He's making like $12 an hour. He literally could be making more at McDonald's than he is working as an EMT night shift.
True.
So money is very important to him. And if he's saying he'd pay $3,000 for this,
Yeah. That's
wow, I mean, he's literally pulling pennies out of his couch to pay for this. So that has to account for something, right?
It'd be fun.
And ladies, he's single.
I can tell that he hates it so much just by his voice. He's like, you guys think it's a deal? It's like when it's like, hey, what do you think of your coworker there? Like, oh, yeah, you can always tell when they get that high voice, like, oh, he's a Bob's Bob, he's Bob. It's he's okay. It's like, oh, Bob's a douche. You got high voiced on it.
Yeah. If Bob is a good guy, you'll say, hey, Bob's a real good guy. But then if someone says, hey, what's Bob like? And you say, man, Bob's Bob, that means Bob's an asshole.
And if you say it twice, so he was like, you guys say it's a good deal, it's a good deal, Like, hey, how is Andy a nice guy? Andy's Andy. You start saying things twice, that means you're lying.
Dude, I'm the worst at that. Like, if I don't say it, my face will. And I am like,
yeah,
I am not good at that.
I will agree with the whole ricer and muscle car combo.
Yeah.
It's just not right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care who you are. I mean, Andy and Coy, cool. Like, if you think it's a deal, it's a deal. But the whole ricer and muscle car combo is not for me.
Wow, that is not very progressive of you.
It kind of really makes me like anxious, and I'm like, no. That's just how I know. Yeah, I'm just gonna drink more and forget about this.
Yeah.
The fact that we have Devin, which is in the cars and races and sponsored and all this, and then somebody who's not in the cars. I mean, I owned a F350. The car I just bought is the first car I've purchased that's performance.
Yeah.
This is not right. It's not okay.
It's a bit of an abomination. I will give you that. But again,
But I appreciate the craftsmanship. Like, somebody was really bored, and I mean, on a build perspective, that's cool as shit. You made it work. That's it.
Yeah. I feel that. So, hey, I mean, collectively, I feel like we can all say it's a deal, even though, Logan's a little bit of call it not a 4 out of 4 deal, but a 3.5 out of 4 deal. Is that fair enough, Logan?
Yeah, it's reasonable.
All right. Fair enough.
Smoking deal or smoking a doobie.
All right, you guys, listen, that is all the show we have for today. Obviously, we need to hear all of your links, Devin, because we have enjoyed having you here. You're amazing. You've been a great sport, and we sure appreciate you being on. Let everybody know where they can find you and everything you're doing.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. So my links, I mostly do Instagram, Facebook. I kind of suck at, but my Instagram is Divine Force Racing, and it's spelled Divine Devine. Yeah, just hit me up on there. I'm happy to talk with everybody with all the questions they have, and make sure you follow along with IAG and what we're doing there too.
Cool. We can do that. And of course, you can find all of us here at the Horsepower Hour at the Horsepower Hour on Facebook, Instagram. I usually plug my TikTok. I'm not going to anymore because I've posted 3 videos over the last 2 weeks, and every single one has been hard struck down. Not for, and what's it been struck down for? It's like street racing videos and stuff. TikTok does not like street racing. It does not like car crashes.
Doesn't like
No, this last video I posted was literally just Russian dudes wrecking their cars, but no one's injured. I mean, they were just low speed wrecks, and TikTok banned me for hate speech for 7 days. So that's a little bit burned.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
TikTok doesn't mind that stuff. TikTok doesn't like you. It's clearly personal at this point.
No, I know. It literally, I'll jump on TikTok and I'll be scrolling and I'll hear the N word 3 times and the F word, not fuck, but the other one a couple of times. And people are still up, but that's fine. It's literally something's burned in my account. So we're not using that one anymore. As soon as I get a new one going, we'll let all you guys know. But for now, that is all of the show we have for you. So thank you once again, Devin Hofmann, so much. This is a great episode, and we really do appreciate you being here. Coy, everyone can reach you at all the same links at the Horsepower Hour. Reach out to him. Jump on the groups over at Facebook, The Horsepower Hour. I believe it's facebook.com/group/The Horsepower Hour. Get a hold of Coy. Talk to Logan. He's always there. Logan, happy birthday, my friend. Congratulations on the new car.
Thank you, sir.
And for you guys out there, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for telling a friend about the podcast. It really is what keeps the wind in our sails, and we sure do appreciate that. And so for Logan, Devin, Coy, this is Andy. We will see you next time.